Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're going to be talking about the spell Staggering Smite.
Oh,
All right,
I've been staggered.
we've recently done Searing Smite, which I got schooled on. I kept trying to defend it. Sam kept knocking me down. This one I had a closer look at, and I'm not as ready to defend it. I was getting there until I saw that this is a 4th level spell for a paladin.
Yeah,
What does that compare like to like 8th level
seventh
for or
seventh
7th?
level
Oh,
for full
geez,
casters.
Louise.
It
All
it
right.
isn't it hard to go back from being like, wait, these other classes get 7th level slots, and you get this, right? Like that going once your eyes are open to like, oh my god, this is nowhere close. It's hard to evaluate these differently. Yeah, so I definitely said I think Staring Smite is up there for worst smite. And while Staggering Smite I also think is quite bad, it is marginally better.
Maybe.
You have there will be times where it's fine.
Well, let's get into it. What does it do first?
Okay, so it's the regular smite because that's for the smite spells, which is it takes a bonus action to cast, eats your concentration, which is the dumbest thing ever. And the next time you would hit a creature within that minute, that you're concentrating on it, it takes 46 extra psychic damage, and then it makes a wisdom saving throw. And if it fails that wisdom saving throw, it has disadvantage on all attack rolls, ability checks, until the end of its next turn, and it can't take reactions till then. So,
Oh man, I didn't read this carefully enough. It only hits once.
yes,
Like it's not you got concentration up to a minute, but you only get one use out of it. That sucks even more.
there. Like I said it in Series Smite, I'll say it here too. There's no reason the smite spells should have concentration. It should just say the next time within a minute you would hit somebody with an attack roll. Does it?
Or in the case for this one, I'd say the opposite. Keep the concentration, but you get to keep using it.
There that for a 4th level spell as a paladin, absolutely that's fair. 100%. I
I was talking about this one in particular.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if we can immediately compare it to regular Divine Smite, right? So regular Divine Smite can be upcast because it's not really a spell, but it uses spell slots. And if you use a 4th level spell slot on upcast Divine Smite, it does 5d8 radiant damage with bonus radiant damage if it's against a fiend or an undead. So if you're comparing 46 to 5d8, you best be getting a whole lot of goodness for that damage. You sometimes do here. If you're against 1 or 2 big bad enemies, disadvantage on all their attack rolls whenever you're looking at 3 to 4 attacks a turn is quite good. Disabling reactions allows people to get away from it very easily. Imposing disadvantage on all ability checks means grapples and things are often going to fall off if things are being restrained or grabbed or whatnot. And that's the reason that I think all of this kind of coalesces to be useful is most of the time when you're fighting a big entity, it has tools to do those things. Krakens, aboliths, creatures, the tentacles like ropers and stuff are going to have a worse time against Searing Smite because they're making a lot of attacks and this imposes disadvantage on lots of attacks. And they are using the conditions that require ability checks to get made. That is where Staggering Smite is at its best. And then it's like, it's worth the damage dice, probably. At the same time, it's hard to get excited about that. But it's they're thinking about the circumstances where you'll cast this, you'll hit, you'll do 46, and it'll pass the whiz save. Boy, does that feel pretty shit. So then you definitely should have just done a regular Divine Smite. And if it dies, it's not going to grapple anyone anymore. It's going to stop making attack rolls if it's deceased. So if it has the difference between 5d8 and 46 HP left, well, you would definitely be better off just killing it. That's not going to be all the time, though. If you're going into a big fight and you're willing to do it, it's pretty decent. I don't want to say decent because you could just not prepare this in the regular Divine Smite and prepare other things. But the other things you have to prepare aren't necessarily all that much better. So I don't know. Bob.
I don't either. I just when you're that high level, I can't see. Yeah, you could kind of cripple its next attack, but I mean, for the amount of damage you might otherwise be able to do with a regular attack or some other like other better spell or something, then doesn't it, I have trouble finding an instance where it's worth it.
Yeah, I think I misspoke. I think it's 6th-level spells that get at the same tier as 4th-level upcast spells. It's 6 or 7. I don't remember which. All I know is that when you get 9th-level spells, whenever you get 5th-level spells, and that's
Yeah.
garbage. That's terrible. But this is same boat. I have like you just said. It's really hard to get excited about this kind of thing. It's like, how do I? Whenever we're at 13th level, this is just a side grade from my regular action that I've had since 2nd level. Like, how is that an exciting opportunity for me? If you're getting upper tier magic as a paladin, like 46 is not a number you want to see. We're well past 46 extra damage. And the disadvantage on all attack rolls and ability checks is fine, but it lasts a single round. So it like, if it doesn't even, despite the fact that this has concentration, and like Staggering Smite had an effect that persisted during the concentration of it, this doesn't even use the concentration after you hit it. This just says it makes the save. It doesn't matter if you have maintained concentration or not. It just has the disadvantage on it. This could say, for the duration of the spell, it is disadvantage on those attack rolls and saving throws, and then be like, okay, now the paladin just has to get the crap kicked out of it, but it has disadvantage on getting the crap. The enemy has disadvantage on kicking the crap out of you. So that's like a nifty little useful thing that could be more useful, and is definitely within the power budget here. This could be better there. Same time, this will be something you'll bust out for like 3 or 4 specific encounters, and not something you're going to want to prepare for every encounter. And for that reason, like, I can't say it's terrible, because in the encounters where it's good, it is pretty fine.
I don't know. It feels like too big of a gamble for me, and I'm,
Too big of a gamble for you, even.
Yeah, well, I'm a gambler at lower levels. Look, all right, my chromatic orb might do crap, or whatever. But here, on a hit, you might do 4d6, and nothing else, or you might do something awesome. I don't know. That's when you're fighting the kind of monsters that you're fighting at those higher levels, then I want a little something to happen.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree.
Or I want the effect to be huge, like the big saver sucks.
What I would like to see, right? Like, if I'm playing an upper tier paladin, my goal probably is to kill it as fast as humanly possible, because upper tier paladins are damage dealing machines if they're allowed to Nova, if they're allowed to like use all their abilities at once. So what I would envision, right, for me is screw Staggering Smite. I'm gonna use my 4th level and 3rd level slots to smite this thing with my multi attack, right? Come in with Greatsword, do 2d6 plus 5d8 plus 2d6 plus 4d8, and just rip into it, right?
Right.
I don't care if it gives disadvantage on attack rolls, because it's dead, right? Like, that's part of what upper tier paladins look like. If you're fighting against something that has, 300 HP, Staggering Smite is there. Alternatively, you could just be shredding those hit points faster. Maybe that's better, maybe it's not. The fact that it's even in contention makes it like, oh, do I even bother preparing this for those fights? Do I want to have to engage my brain that much whenever it's not necessarily better? I don't know. I don't know, Bob. Your saves aren't going to be that great either. Like, oh.
I'm just saying, you're seldomly out there alone. Let somebody else do something that's going to get rid of it, give it disadvantage on its attacks.
Yeah.
You lay into it, and Bard can viciously mock it.
Yeah, it doesn't help that, like, also you want a decent strength and or dex and con. So your charisma, which is what cares to make the wisdom saving throw, if you are against the big bads, like at this stage, they're definitely going to have decent wisdom scores at least, and they're going to have saves against wisdom be fairly robust. If your DC is like a 13 or 14 still, that's not going to be very difficult for anything in the upper tiers to really pass. And even if you're in the situation where it's like, we're against the Kraken, legendary resistance just goes, okay, I'll take the 46. And then you're like, well, I should have just done a regular smite. Yeah. I think I'm higher on this one than you are, which is saying something. But most of the smite spells, if you're gonna play a paladin, I would just recommend take utility spells and be ready to just sink slots in divine smite if you want to kill stuff. And that's the how to paladin 1OL and feel busted doing it, because you will do a truckload of damage with your attacks, multi attacks. Being able to smite off like 12 or 13 times over the course of an adventure is like enough damage that you're just mowing through stuff. You'll be out damaging your rogues. You'll be king of the world out there, just slaying through monsters if you're just sinking Divine Smites into the spells. And whenever you need to detect magic now and then, whenever you want to get a protection from good and evil up for some reason, you can have those in your back pocket instead, which have meaningful utility than a smite that you could just have replaced with Divine Smite anyway. So
All right, you got a score for this one?
I'm gonna give this a 2. There's gonna be a couple situations that are niche where you're gonna be like, yeah, this is helpful enough that I want it. Beyond that, just use Divine Smite.
I like the effects, but it comes a way too high level for me. I'm also going to give it a 2. Yeah, because I want to give it something higher, but I'm not going to. All right. Well, thank you, Sam. And oh, that was what was that? That
Staggering
was
Smite.
Staggering Smite. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for listening and watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.